Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. So today, we're diving into a really fascinating biology question straight out of the WASSCE exams. We've teamed up with QandAHelp, which, by the way, is an absolute lifesaver for exam prep, to do more than just memorize an answer. We're going to uncover the actual why behind it. All right, let's jump right in.
Okay, so here's our target. WASSCE Biology 2026, question 11. It goes like this. Which of the following factors is responsible for phenotypic variation in organisms? Roman numeral 1, genetic factors. 2, environmental factors. And 3, ABO blood group system. We've got 4 options to choose from. Now, right off the bat, notice the 2 massive keywords here, factors responsible and phenotypic variation. Whenever you're staring down a question like this, your very first job is to decode those terms. So, let's unpack what they actually mean.
Before we even touch variation, we've got to lock down the word phenotype. Look, it simply means the observable characteristics of an organism. Think of it like the physical expression of who you are. Picture a group of students standing shoulder to shoulder. Almost instantly, you'll notice some are really tall, some are average height, maybe some are shorter. You'll see different skin complexions, different eye colors. Those are all phenotypes. And hey, it's not just the stuff you can see from across the room. Things we have to test for, like body mass or your specific blood group, those are absolutely part of your phenotype too.
So, building on that, phenotypic variation is literally just mashing those concepts together. It's the observable differences among organisms of the exact same species. When student A is super tall and student B is much shorter, that difference right there, that's phenotypic variation. It's what makes life interesting, right? But here's the catch. Our exam question isn't just asking what it is, it's asking what causes it. What are the invisible factors actually pulling the strings behind the scenes?
Well, that brings us to this golden rule of biology. Seriously, if you remember one thing today, make it this formula. Genotype plus environment equals phenotype. Imagine a tiny seed. That seed has all these built-in instructions. That's its genetics, its genotype. But when you plant it, the final plant it grows into, its phenotype, depends heavily on the environment. Like, how much water did it get? Did it get enough sunlight? The final physical outcome is always a dance between the genetic code you inherited and the environment you grew up in.
Okay, let's bring our exam question suspects to the stand, starting with statement 1, genetic factors. Based on that golden formula we just talked about, this is a massive yes. Genetic factors are passed straight down from your parents through your genes, so they are absolutely a core cause of observable variations. I mean, think about it. Your natural eye color, inherited skin pigmentation, whether or not you can do that weird U-shaped thing with your tongue, and, yep, your blood group. These are entirely determined by the genetic instructions you were born with. So, statement 1, definitely a factor.
All right, what about statement 2, environmental factors? Again, this is a confirmed cause. Think back to our seed analogy for a second. You could take 2 identical seeds with the exact same genetic code. But if you plant one in rich, beautiful soil with tons of sunlight and water, and you throw the other one in dry, poor soil in the dark, they're going to look completely different when they grow. Same thing with humans. Your nutrition directly impacts your body mass, time in the sun affects tanning, hitting the gym changes your muscle development. The environment is constantly molding your observable traits. So statement 2 is an absolute yes.
Now here's where it gets a little sneaky with statement 3, the ABO blood group system. The examiners totally threw this in to trip you up. See, genetic and environmental factors are the causes. They're the underlying engines responsible for variation. But the ABO blood group system? That's merely a result of genetic factors. It's just an example of variation. It's not the underlying cause creating it.
This is so crucial, guys. Please do not fall for this common trap. When you're reading these tricky exam questions, you have got to separate the cause from the example. The cause here is the genetic factor. The actual blood groups, A, B, AB, and O, are just beautiful examples of that cause in action. Just because the ABO system shows variation doesn't mean the system itself is some independent magical third factor causing it. Make sense?
So let's pull all our clues together and finally crack this case. Statement 1, genetic factors, valid cause. Statement 2, environmental factors, also a valid cause. Statement 3, the ABO blood group system, nope, that's just an example. Therefore, the actual factors responsible for phenotypic variation are 1 and 2 only. Knowing that, it points us straight to option C, case closed.
Actually, before we move on, I want to hand you a super useful shortcut for your WAEC exams. Whenever you run into a multiple choice question asking for factors responsible, just run it through this quick 2-step mental filter. Step 1, ask yourself, is this item a cause of variation? Like, is it genetics or environment? Step 2, or is it merely an example of variation like someone's blood group or eye color? Running that quick checklist in your head will instantly stop you from falling for trap answers that look related but don't actually answer the question.
All right, enough theory. Let's test out those newly acquired skills. We're going to do a quick, rapid-fire quiz. Totally low stakes, just to make sure this is all sticking in your brain. Question 1. 2 maize plants of the exact same variety get different amounts of water and end up growing to totally different heights. Which factor mainly caused that difference? Think back to what different amounts of water represents in our golden formula.
Got it? The answer is environmental factor. Since the question says they're of the same variety, we know their genetics are basically identical. The big variable here was the water availability, which is a classic textbook example of an external environmental factor shaping the final phenotype, which in this case is how tall they grew. Awesome job if you nailed that one.
Let's keep that momentum going. Quick quiz 2. Which of the following is an example of a genetically controlled variation in humans? Is it A, muscle size from exercise, B, ABO blood group, C, body mass from diet, or D, skin tanning from sunlight? Run through those options and hunt for the one that's inherited, not picked up from the surroundings.
All right, the correct answer is B, the ABO blood group. Exercise, diet, and sunlight are all external influences, right? They're environmental factors. But your blood group? That is locked in from day one by the genes you inherited from your parents. It's literally the perfect example of a genetically controlled phenotypic variation.
Okay, last one. Our final quick quiz question to really lock everything down today. Complete this core biological relationship. Blank plus environment equals phenotype. Is it A, habitat, B, genotype, C, population, or D, blood plasma? What is the missing half of our golden equation?
And yeah, of course, the answer is B, genotype. Genotype plus environment equals phenotype. Seriously, if you keep this one golden formula etched in your memory, you're going to confidently breeze through almost any genetics or variation question they throw at you.
So, to wrap up today's explainer on this WAC biology question, the correct answer is absolutely option C, 1 and 2 only. We've seen exactly why genetics and environment are the true driving factors, and why blood groups are just the resulting examples. Remember, acing these exams is all about preparing smarter, not just harder. Definitely head over to QandAHelp.com for some incredibly in-depth, structured explanations across all your subjects. And as you're hitting the books later tonight, I want you to ask yourself, are you just blindly memorizing examples, or do you truly understand the underlying causes? Think about it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.